In this video, you guys are going to be learning how to play defense, and it's going to be a complete guide on different coverage cells I like to run, blitzes, how to guard certain routes, what to look for, why I choose certain defenses, and not even only in this Madden, but you can take some of these skills and knowledge that you have learned in this video, and you guys can put them into future Maddens, such as Madden 26, as long as it's going to be on the same engine. But enough yapping from me. Let's get straight into this. So we're going to be breaking down section by section of how I'm going to be looking to attack defense in Madden 25. What I looked for, like when I started off the year, middle through the year, just like, my pretty much what my thought process is. So when I'm looking for a defense, a new defense, looking just to find anything, what I always do is I'm looking for a defense that's symmetrical. Symmetrical in Madden is really big. Now, there is some defenses, such as 3-3 Cub, that is really good, even though it's not a symmetrical defense with a slot corner. So, like 3-3 Cub, if you guys have never seen it, this is what it is. So, you have 3 down D linemen, you have 2 linebackers on the outside, you have a slot corner, 2 outside DBs, and 2 safeties, right? So, if this was a symmetrical defense, pretty much what would happen is there would be 3 D linemen, 4 D linemen, 2 linebackers, or it'd be 3 D linemen, 2 linebackers in the middle, or 2 middle linebackers, and then 2 slot corners. So you can run defenses like this. I prefer not to run these defenses just because there's always some sort of a weakness, especially with how good offense has been in the previous Madden. So some of the best defenses could be something like 3-4-I. We have 2 middle linebackers here, 2 outside linebackers, 3 down D linemen, and then we have 4 DBs. So this is something that's symmetrical where you could probably even run it on either side. Also, dime 3-2, another symmetrical defense. And this is the defense that I'm going to be showing you guys and what my thought process is when creating it. So we have 3 down D linemen, 2 sub linebackers, 2 slot corners, 2 outside corners, and 2 safeties. So now let's get into coaching adjustments. So when you have this symmetrical defense, you always want to have auto flip off. What this allows is there's going to be certain plays in the game that are going to have certain blitz angles, such as cover 4 quarters this year has one, crossfire, hot blitz had some throughout the year, Tampa 2. Whatever play it is that has certain angles, you're going to want to probably base blitzes out of that, which we'll get into in a little bit. But the reason why we have auto flip up is because if the offense comes out whatever side, they're always going to try to match it to the strong side. So we want to have auto flip off to make sure we keep our blitzer on the side that it's going to work in. If we're doing like a loop blitz, we're setting 5 and we're sending it off the edge, it really doesn't matter. The other thing I like is auto alignment. So, or auto alignment base align. So, auto alignment, if you run it on default, pretty much the slot corners are going to be closer to those defensive ends, which is going to be giving up a lot of flats to the sideline. So if you're playing someone that's in like a 5 out set or like a trips tight end, U trips type set, they're going to be able just to sit there and throw flats unless you put your outside corners in hard flats, which then is going to be able to give up big one play touchdowns. I don't really mess with cornerback matchups. Doing this is going to pretty much mess up zone coverage. If you were to run man, you could do by speed. Other than that, if you're running zone, never touch that. Now, option defense, you really are not going to really need to touch option defense. The only time you'll ever touch option defense is if you're playing like maybe like a read option, certain RPOs, the defensive end actually runs towards the running back. They can keep the RPO and they can take off. So if that was happening versus you would want to go conservative, strip ball, balance, and then zone drops. Zone drops are important. I kind of talked about this in another video, but I will reiterate it. So you want your flats, everything on default. That's the way I like to play defense. Once you get to those 3rd down, those 4th downs where it's like 3rd and long, then you would, let's just say it's 3rd and 12. I always would round up to like 3rd and 15 because they go by increments of 5. So I'd go 15 flats, 15 hooks. Now let's just say we're on a 3rd and 2. We need to stop here. I'm probably going to go leave these default are flats, and then I'm going to change my hooks to 5. These 5-yard hooks play really well this year when guarding zigs, and they're going to take away all the short routes such as drags, zigs, inverted zigs, whatever it may be. These 5-yard hooks are going to do a really good job at guarding that, which is then most people are going to call. They're not going to have a lot of deep routes on the field, which is going to make everything a lot easier on your user and just playing defense in general. So we'll just leave everything on default coverage for now. Let's get into the dime 3-2 formation. All right. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. So the most important coverages that we need while in dime 3-2, we always need some sort of cover 4. Cover 4, and when I say cover 4, I mean a regular cover 4. You don't want match. The reason why you don't want match is even sometimes when you shade down, the deep blues are still going to match for some formations, and you can also manipulate these blues. So cover 4 quarters is a really popular play when it is coming to looping, but if someone knows that you're in cover 4 quarters and you're matching out of it, or if let's just say you cancel the match, sometimes they can manipulate those deep blues in different ways. So we want to make sure we always have a regular cover 4, which we do. We have cover 4 drop. We also want to make sure we have a cover 3, which we have multiple cover 3s. We have cover 3 hard flat in this formation. We also have free safety zone blitz with seam flats. We have some cover 3 match as well, cover 3 lock. So we can base a lot of different things out of that cover 3. And finally, we need a Tampa 2, cover 2, which we do have in this formation. We do have a Tampa 2. So we have our 3 main shells. Now, what makes defenses even better is if they have some other unique shells. Now, a unique shell that I like to call would be this cover 3 cloud in the middle. Cover 3 cloud is an insane defense in Madden 25 because this outside third, it looks like they're going to have a fade to the sideline, but that outside third actually does play a really good job on that fade and also does really good versus corner routes. Now, you're going to be able to hit the seams up the middle, but we don't need to call this every down. It's just nice to have if we're getting, destroyed by certain corner routes. So we have all these coverages. Now, my audibles, I have cover 4 quarters, Tampa 2, cover 4 drop, and SS zone blitz, which is cover 3 if we do the correct adjustments. All we need to do is put our safety in a hook curl, and we have a cover 3 shell. So that's what I'm looking for in certain formations. Now, we can go around this playbook, and I'm looking at 3-3 cub. It's got cover 4. It's got Tampa 2. It's got a little bit of match. The big things that they're missing is going to be a regular cover 4 as well as like a cover 3 cloud, maybe even the cover 6. I go around nickel 3-3, and it's kind of the same thing right here. It's missing missing like a cover 3 cloud, but it's also not symmetrical as well. So that's why I wouldn't choose that. This nickel over, I'm not a big fan of the 4 down D lineman. It's going to be really hard. You're going to have to send 5 every time to get pressure, and the less people we can send, the better we're going to be on defense. So that's why I was looking at that. Now, 3-4 odd is a really good formation this year. It's got man coverage, Tampa 2. It's got this cover 3. It's got cover 6. It's got some inverted coverages. It's got cover 4 match and cover 4. So you could even run that if you wanted. But we're going to be going out of the dime 3-2. And let's get into some of the things that I'm looking at. So right here, you guys see I'm coming out on this double safety go look. Now, the only reason why I'm doing this in this Madden is that double safety go brings your safeties in the box. So if somebody's trying to just throw seams directly, this double safety go is really good, which is different in other forms. Other forms, they don't have a double safety go. So you'd have to do things like show blitz, which also kind of messes up your D-line, not allowing you to pinch your D-line. So that's why I like this out of dollar. Now, I always, when I'm looking for a blitz, I always make sure it works first 5 out. So I have like, if someone sends 5 routes out, I always can find a blitz. So what I like to do is find a 4-man blitz first. Now, the good thing about dollar is with this defense, you can either send it off the edge with the slot corners, or you can loop up the A gap as well. And you guys know that looping up the A gap has been meta for the past couple of years. Last year with free safety zone blitz, this year with Tampa 2 cover 4 quarters, and then also always DB Fire has always been good. Whether it's been the best or it hasn't been the best, DB Fire has always been at least somewhat runnable. This year it's not as good, but we can still run it this year. So first thing I always look for is certain blitz angles. So on this play Tampa 2, I see that we have a linebacker. Let me actually audible. We have a linebacker right here. Now we can do a lot of things with this linebacker. I could just left him right here, and he probably is just gonna run down at the guard, and we won't have much success with it. But when I'm looking, what I pretty much am looking for is what I can do with these certain different blitz angles. So the way that we found the loop blitz this year, or pro players found the loop, is that pretty much they were dragging over and seeing that these angles never moved. Like they just kind of stretched out just like this. And this is what causes this loop blitz. So what happens is that the guard in the center, and I just realized I'm kind of running it on the wrong side, so let's try this again. What happens is that the guard in the center are going to engage with the defensive tackle, not really realize that, there's a loop blitz coming. And since this blitz angle stays like that, that's what's going to get Pat Tillman this nice angle. Now you can even contain. And the reason why I like to contain, obviously, it's going to help with people rolling out. But let me just reset the play. If I don't contain and the defensive end engages with the tackle on this side, sometimes he gets in the way of the looper, gets bumped, and it's going to delay when the looper is actually coming free. So if we contain like this, and he's going to take the outside edge, which is going to clear a lane for this looper. And not many people know that, so there's a little pro tip for you guys. So any blitz that we can send 4 people is probably going to be a really ideal blitz, especially versus send 5 out, because that means we have more people guarding the send 5 out. So right here, practice mode shouldn't be weird. We should be able to loop. Yes, we did. I didn't guard anything, obviously. Just kind of showing you guys the loop. So let's come out, instant replay right here. So you guys see right here, this defensive end, if he's not in this contain right here, he's probably running through, or he's probably bringing the tackle inside, and Pat Tillman's going to have nowhere near or nowhere close to loop. He's going to have nowhere close to loop, probably get bumped, and it's going to give our opponent a lot of time. Put him in this contain, keeps him on the edge, keeps him, responsible for a QB rollout, allowing Pat Tillman to come free. Now, I probably should guard and, do a little bit of adjustments, but we're not going to do all that right now. We're just showing the blitz. So you can do the same thing out of this cover 4. You can just drag them over, and this is different loops. Now, a lot of people, what they do is when they find these send 4s, they don't keep in mind some of the small things. So some of the small things that you got to keep in mind would be like a quarterback stepping up. A lot of people like to send like maybe 2-3 people, but they don't think about a quarterback stepping up, and they're like, oh, look at this loop blitz that I have. You can only send 2 people. But a lot of the times when you send 2 to 3 people, it's just so easy to step up into the pocket. So when you're looking for a blitz, keep that in mind. Am I able to keep the quarterback in the pocket? Am I putting him on a timer? Is he gonna have all day? How fast this blitz is coming in? And look for the different blitz angles in Madden. So I'm going to get into the next part of finding a blitz. So our next one is, so we just kind of showed over what a send 4 does in Madden 25. Looping blitzes, it's going to put your opponent on a timer. It's not a super effective blitz, but this is going to be more of a super effective blitz that you're going to want to kind of mix in. So we always want to kind of keep the same look when we're calling blitzes, because if we give different looks for different blitzes, they're going to kind of know. So what we want to do is DB fire, a really good send 5, just like this. A good send 5, sending both slot corners off the edge. A lot of people, what they're going to do is try to collapse their line to pick up the A gap from Pat Tillman coming through the middle. So, but we're still going to give that same look. We want to drag Pat Tillman over like we're calling the loop. All right, and now to make these slot corners come in, so let's just call this play right here. These slot corners probably still will come in just because it's 5 versus 5 out. They're going to come in. All right, now that's perfectly fine. Now, we always have to think about what they're going to do if they block a running back. So, if they block a running back, and I'm going to call a different play and show you guys when they block a running back. All right, so now I'm going to show you guys, this is against a send 6. Now, it probably still will scream off this right side, but it probably won't be as effective. So, right here, let's just call a play. And right there, we see that they got bumped just because their routes were over in the area. But if we go to instant replay, we can look over on the left side, and everything is pretty much going to be picked up over on this left side. This guy's going to kind of come in free later in the play, but again, they're going to have a lot of time for a send 5. So something we're looking for with the send 5 is we're going to want to press, press these slot corners. I kind of just pressed my whole defense to make it better. But if we're trying to keep the same look, we don't want to do that. So if you're 100% committed, you want to run DB fire, you're definitely going to want to press these slot corners. Otherwise, we're just going to have to leave them back. But we're going to try crashing our line a different way. So one thing that people love to do when they're sending a 5-man blitz is crash up. Crashing up. The reason why people want to crash up is you got to think we're sending people off the slot. So if we crash up and we're kind of making the the edges clogged up, we're going to be able to have a higher chance of getting someone to come free. So you guys see we're crashing up, and this outside linebacker, or this outside DN is going to actually come in, or it's going to go where the slot corner is. The slot corner is going to also run in over there. Let's set up the same look over here. And I'm going to hover. I'm just going to hover right here. And the reason why I'm hovering here is you guys will find out here soon. But I'm going to hover here, and hopefully we get someone to come in free. Right there, we're going to be able actually to get our slot corner to come in a lot faster. Granted, he didn't get blocked right there. But crashing our line outside. Also, we got way better sheds doing that too. Granted, right here they double teamed right here, but that's okay if we get a double team right here. We get Nolan Smith coming off the edge right here. If that's what they want to, if that is perfect. We have our DNs coming in. We're getting good sheds. It's gonna make the quarterback have to try to roll out into those slot corners. If they step up, our defensive ends are playing inside right there. We're getting way better sheds just by doing that simple adjustment. We didn't even scream right there. The ends didn't even come in like they should have. But we're getting way better sheds. So hopefully we can kind of scream right here. Let's try this again. I'm going to just sit over in this gap right here. Hopefully we get something to come in. We're actually not able to come in right there either. Let me play hard flats. The computer is going to make me mad. All right. Oh, whoops. Did not mean to do that ever. Fuck it. Let's just bring down these guys. I didn't mean to do what I did. See if we can get some pressure right here. We're able to get way better pressure right there. So they still threw the flat versus the hard flat, but I can just show you guys that the slot corners are actually coming in 5 versus 6 right here, and we're getting way better sheds. And we're gonna once they start sliding the line, it's going to open up a lot more for the defensive ends. And our slot corners are going to get picked up, but the defensive ends will be able to come in free. Now let's get into the next part of a blitz. So normally every year there's a weird kind of defense that takes over Madden, and this year it's going to be the engage the guard defense. So this might work next year. It could work for the next couple years while we play Madden, different variations of it. But I'm going to add it in this year just because this is a Madden 25 defensive guide. So cover 4 has been meta. We're going to base this out of cover 4. So this blitz angle, let's just say we call it Tampa 2, or we'll call cover 4 right here. This blitz angle right here is different than this. It is just a tad different with the blitz angles. It's not a big difference, but you can kind of see like the loop blitz is almost like a longer angle than this when you just re-blitz like a hook curl or a zone. So we're going to base this out of something that's in a zone. So you want to blitz a linebacker that's already in a zone. So if you have a linebacker in a zone, you can blitz them, and this is going to be successful for this engaged blitz. So we're dragging the linebacker over just like this. We're going to blitz Tillman, and he's going to go through this left guard right here. Now, I'm going to contain again because this blitz is coming up the A-gap. We want them to try to roll out into these contains so we can get easy sacks. So all we're doing is we're giving the same look that we did the loop blitz, DB fire, and now we have cover 4. I can hover right here, and this is why I hovered their last spot, because now they still don't know what play's coming, unless they have threat detector or something, but we're not worried about that. So we're going to hover right here. We're going to sit here. Now, normally in game, you can hold this left stick down. You guys see how I'm holding my left stick down. You can hold your left stick down, and then once they snap the ball, you run in the guard. Practice mode, you can't do that, but so I'm going to try to time this right here and try to get them to come in free right there. They're able to come in free right there, and I don't know how he got that, but you guys see Pat Tillman comes in free. So all we're doing for this blitz is we're taking a zone, dragging them over here to give it the same look. We're blitzing. I have to get it. Sometimes these blitz angles get weird. In game that won't happen. Practice mode is so weird. And then you just hover right here. You're ready to run down. You're gonna get some offsides. It just happens, but try your best not to. And then finally, you're just gonna up. Okay, it still worked anyway. So we're able to come in free. And those are like the 3 different blitzes that we can run out of this. And this is what's gonna make offense so much harder for our opponent, is that we have 3 different blitzes that have 3 different protections. Setting up all 3 of these blitzes, they have to slide their line different ways, whether it's half sliding, IDs, double teams. So if they try to call one of those blitzes, we'll just say if they try to, I don't know, I'm just throwing it something out there. Let's just say they try to double team the defensive tackle to get them to collapse to the middle of the field, and we call DB fire. Oh, our defensive ends are coming in because the guards are kicking in. The slot corner is going to come out. The tackles are going to try to get them. So trying to set up different protections for these blitzes, keeping our opponent off guard, is what's going to help us be really good on defense in Madden 25. So now let's get into some coverage shells and how to defend certain plays. So some of the most important things, and for a lot of people who play meta, you guys are going to realize that the most important routes this year are going to be speed outs, zig routes, post routes, and then certain corner routes are going to be really good. So we're going to be worried about those 4 routes. So let's start off with post routes. Post routes, right? We're going to be calling PA, or our opponent's going to be calling PA snag here. So what are we going to do for something like PA snag. What we're going to do is everyone's basing stuff out of cover 4 this year. So let's base it out of cover 4. Cover 4 quarters. Everybody goes to the outside. We're going to set up just the loop blitz right now. All right, it doesn't really matter. You can do this out of any cover 4. So if we think like a post is coming, something I love to do in this game is I find the strong side of the formation. The strong side of the formation is going to be these 2 wide receivers over on the left. That strong side of the formation, there's a lot of players that are going to be on routes that are threats to us. So we're going to have to be worried about post routes, drag routes, the zig routes, all that. The speed outs are all going to come from that left side of the field. So that's why I always make sure I put, like a cover 4 shell over there. I don't want to give up nothing deep. I don't want to give up one-play touchdowns. If they want to get one-play touchdowns to the weak side, that's fine with me. But what we're going to do is we're going to actually shade underneath first. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put our slot corner in this hook curl right here, and then our outside guy in a soft squat. So a soft squat is going to match a corner route to the right side of the field. Hook curl is going to stop like maybe a curl route. Seam streak that's trying to be thrown up the middle, which seam streaks are super tough in this game. So against this post route right here versus PA snag, it's going to come from the outside receiver. So this 3-rec right here is going to pretty much guard a drag. It's not going to guard anything deep. If we wanted to guard a post route, what we could do is we could put our user in a hook curl, right? They're going to snap the ball. I'm going to actually switch, if I can successfully get it to Cooper DeJean, and I'm going to kind of play over in that right spot. So let me try this one more time because I failed last time. All right, and so if I think this post route's coming and I don't want to switch to over tap to one of my deep blues, I'm going to put Ray Nitschke in this hook. I'm going to switch to Cooper DeJean right here. And right here, I'm going to kind of be able to play in this small window. Right there, we get a KO right there. Even without a KO, we're still going to knock that out. So let me go to this instant replay. I kind of messed up a little bit with my switch. But Ray Nitschke is going to play this slant to start. I'm guarding the spot route with my hook. And then Ray Nitschke is going to play in this window right here early, giving me time to recover on the backside to jump back to that post and play it late. So Ray Nitschke, if they try to throw that, we're picking that off. It's easy. It's going the other way. And then you see me running back right here. Now the computer tried to throw this in this small window. That's not going to be able to be caught in the game. If they catch it, you take your cap and you tip it. So you can do that. Hook curls do a really good job at just dropping back and playing those post routes, especially on the middle linebackers. Now, if we're getting really good, let's just say, or if we just guess the wrong coverage or play, and we're in the wrong coverage. So let's just say I accidentally leave this 3-rec. Now these 3-recs are guarding like the slants and the drags. They're going to snap the ball here, and I can take this post with my switch stick. Now, granted, we're going to let them throw that flat all day. If they want to live and die by the flat, give it to them all day. The moment they want to keep throwing flat after flat, will end up taking away. But let's go to this instant replay. As you see this 3-rec right here, we engage. I'm kind of running with this a little bit. It's kind of playing this middle. And our 3-rec's not as deep, so they can technically throw the post, but we're going to take it away with our switch eventually once I get over there and not mess up my switch. But yeah, everything's pretty much bagged. The soft squat's playing a little deep, so obviously they can throw this tight end flat, but we're okay with giving them a flat. So when I'm taking away post routes, what I'm looking to do is put a hook curl from my middle linebacker, or I'm switch sticking to one of my deep blues. So it just depends on how aggressive you want to get, but that is how we're going to be attacking posts. So now we're going to be doing speed outs. Now speed outs is an interesting route. It's a hot routed route this year, and I don't have another controller to show you guys an actual speed out. So you guys are going to have to take my word for it. Trust me, I wouldn't lie to y'all, man. I have nothing to play it for anymore. I'm just out here trying to make you guys be better Madden players and just being able to take this knowledge and go into games and winning more. So right here, how would I take away a speed out? Cloud flats are the speed out killer. If you have a cloud flat, and it doesn't matter where, if you have a cloud flat on this outside guy, he'll play it. If you have a cloud flat on Herb Adderley, he'll play it. Cloud flats are the speed out killer in Madden as long as you're base aligned. So let's just say if you're 100% no, they're calling a speed out, I'm probably putting a cloud on this outside guy right here, and I'm putting a hook curl over here. I'm just in a regular cover 4 now. And cloud flat, this is going to play a speed out. It's going to play a speed out every time. Now, let's just say it might be a speed out, but we're not 100% sure. Maybe it might be like a corner route or, something that's going to go Deeper, you just kind of want to, you don't want to get too aggressive and put a cover 2 and possibly get bombed over top. So we can still do the same thing. We're going to shade underneath what we're just called the engaged blitz right here. We're going to shade over top, and now that cloud flat is also going to play, and we can also switch stick to these cloud flats too. So we can do some, like, granted this is going to be PA snag, but I can switch stick to Herb Adderley. I can play, a deeper corner since they're already running back, something like that, without having the threat of getting beat over top. So that is how we're going to be guarding speed outs. So now we're going to be going into these zig routes. Zig routes are the most frustrating thing in Madden because every big down, you give up a zig route and you just want to break everything in sight. So I'm going to teach you guys how we're guarding these. So we're just going to get in cover 2 just because they have good stock, hook curls. But actually, no, I lied. We're actually going to get in cover 4. I thought I had Tampa 2. I guess I didn't. I wanted to call it Tampa 2. But we can make a Tampa 2 out of this. So pretty much, if we know a zig is coming 100%, or we've been struggling to get stop a zig all game, what we can do, so we're gonna have a Tampa 2 just like this. Now these vert hooks, we're putting them on 5 yards. So over here, we're in the slot, we're gonna have an inverted zig in that slot. So if you guys are struggling to stop this, put a 5-yard vert hook and watch how this plays right here. I'm not gonna pretty much guard everything else. I just want to show you how this 5-yard hook plays this inverted zig. Right here, it plays it perfectly. That's exactly what we want. And then we can even get real freaky with our user. So let's call this cover 4 quarters because technically they could throw it late. If they had a lot of time, they could definitely throw it late. So let's get real freaky and let's start switch sticking a little bit. We also have our user in this 3 rec, which is okay with us. So right here, calling this cover 2 again. And what this allows us to do with these 5-yard hooks is it's going to actually put us in a position. So like right here, it's in front of that zig right there. So even if he does end up beating him over to the middle, let's just say, because, that inverted zig is going to kind of, it's going to travel over time. So if we want to prevent that, we can always just switch stick and jump in front of it. Otherwise, a 3 rec is going to jump that as well. So we can do this one more time just to show you guys. I'm gonna switch stick over it, but I'm not gonna put my user over there. I'm just gonna put this guy over here, just to get him out the way. Right here, we're gonna see Herb Adderley kind of just sit right here, and we can switch stick that. Granted, I need a better user right there. I didn't go to tackle him or even try to hit him and make an incompletion. I just switch sticked. Didn't think he would throw it. But 5-yard hooks are the zig route killers. Also does a really good job versus drag routes. And finally, let's get into corner routes. Finally, we're going to get into a corner route in Madden. So there's different type of corner routes. You have your deep corners and you have your short corners. Short corners, my rule is if it's a short corner, it's about 10 yards, maybe 15 yards, if that, but it's more around the 10-yard mark. And those you want to guard with clouds. A deep blue will never be able to guard that short corner. A cloud will always. So you can put a cloud on the outside. You can put a cloud in the slot. Since we're baseline, they're closer to the sideline, so we can call a cloud towards or in the slot that will guard the short corner. So we can put a cloud wherever. A 10 to 15-yard corner, that's where we're looking. If we're looking for a deep corner, we're calling wide sale right now. We're going to have to use a deep blue. Now, sometimes with the deep blues, they can get tricky just because with the deep blues, they get pulled. So there's going to be a streak right here. So sometimes we're going to have to switch stick it like right here. So let's just call it right here. Let me just kind of guard all this stuff on the left. And just kind of show you the corner over on the right. So right here, okay, they just throw the seam streak. Okay, let's not throw the seam streak, computer, please. I hate that the seam streak the computer has a mind of its own. Right here, let's try this again. I'm gonna actually do this. All right, here we go. Just to kind of get them to hold the ball. Please hold the ball. All right, well, at least the corner route develops, so I can kind of show you what I'm talking about. So, what we can do is we see as these guys are running right here, right? I kind of try to man this guy up so they wouldn't throw it, but these quarters are gonna get pulled by this streak right here, which is not ideal. So one thing we can do is we can switch stick onto this quarter and we can go play it. That would be probably the best thing because then we're not giving up 1-play touchdowns if we try to overcommit. The other thing we could do is for a deep corner, and that's a super deep corner. So let me try to get something that's a little bit more shallow. That's all right. So now that we found a little bit of a shallower corner, let's call it now, and which I just want to show you guys how this deep blue reacts to this shallower corner, not a deep corner that's getting pulled by everything because of the clear out right here. As you guys can see, now both my inside quarter and my outside quarter played it, but we go to instant replay right here. You guys up right here, you guys see he's breaking. Now the safety takes off, which we don't mind or we don't want, but he's running straight into this deep blue. The moment that this ball is thrown, that deep blue is going to snap on that. Whether it's getting picked or it's an incomplete pass is exactly what we want. Granted, I know he is kind of backpedaling right here, but once that ball snapped, we're not going to have to worry about that. He's kind of in a weird position right there, but y'all just have to trust me on that. So before we conclude this video, again, if you guys are struggling with corners, deep corners you want to use with outside quarters, shallow corners you want with cloud flats, and shallow corners about 10 yards. Speed outs are also guarded by cloud flats. Zig routes, 5-yard hooks, and finally posts can be either a hook curl on default over the middle or an inside quarter. If this video helped you guys, leave a comment down below. I'll catch you on the next one.